Pakistan is facing one of the worst economic crises in its history.
कि जो हमारे मुल्क के इस वक्त हालात है, हम एक दिवालिया मुल्क के रहने वाले हैं। आपने सुना होगा डिफॉल्ट हो रहा है या दिवालिया हो रहा है या मेल्टडाउन हो रहा है, वो हो चुका हुआ है।
With record-breaking inflation, food and essential commodity prices skyrocketing, rise in poverty and unemployment, no foreign investment in the country, prolonged political instability, added with rising fundamentalism and security challenges, are a perfect recipe for disaster. Pakistan, our nuclear-armed neighbor, is on the verge of a civil war. But how did Pakistan reach here? The problem is not a recent one. If you go into the root of it, the problem in Pakistan is multifaceted, but we can divide it into three parts: political, economic, and security. Pakistan's problems today are not only because of the political instability post Imran Khan's ousting and the economic mismanagement of the recent years, but the problem is a 75-year-old one. We'll try to cover all the relevant aspects, but it's a vast topic. That's why we have decided to start a Pakistan series. In today's video, we'll cover the current economic crisis and a general overview of the political and security crisis in Pakistan. Hello guys, I am Sharif and welcome to the Arc. All hell broke loose when Pakistan's previous Prime Minister Imran Khan was ousted after a no-confidence vote in Parliament last April. The turmoil started since then. Not the economic turmoil, that's quite old, but the political one. Let's go back in time to understand the current political crisis. In 2018, general elections were held in Pakistan. Imran Khan's party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, emerged victorious in the election, but it fell short of majority. It formed coalition with smaller parties to form the government. But the opposition parties alleged rigging in elections and favoritism being shown to Imran Khan by the establishment, which includes the army, ISI and the judiciary. Over a period of time, Pakistan Army's blue-eyed boy Imran Khan had a fallout with the army establishment. His governance, economic management, foreign policy, everything was a disaster. This created space for opposition parties like PMLN, PPP and others to unite against Imran Khan. And a movement called Pakistan Democratic Movement was launched in September 2020. Under this guy's leadership, Fazlur Rahman is an Islamic fundamentalist politician leading the Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam, inspired by the Deobandi school of Islam. Finally, a vote of no confidence was brought against Imran Khan, and he was ousted from office on 10th April 2022. He was not the first one to be removed from the PM's office in Pakistan, though the first one to be removed after a vote of no confidence. Others were either assassinated or removed forcefully by the army, or through a coup. On 11th April 2022, Shehbaz Sharif, the brother of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and a three-time CM of Pakistan's Punjab province, became PM. But a huge political turmoil started with Imran Khan's removal. More than 37 cases have been filed against him. Recently, a non-bailable warrant was issued against him in the Toshakhana case, in which he is accused of earning $36 million from selling 3 watches gifted to him as PM. The Toshakhana is the treasury where presents handed to government officials from foreign officials are kept. But Imran apparently never deposited some of these gifts. Recently, when police reached his residence in Lahore to arrest him, there was a scuffle with his supporters and he escaped.
उनके अंदर रह के इन्होंने 4-5 पुलिस वालों को कत्ल करना है और उसके बाद वहां से अटैक आना है। उन्होंने गोलियां चला दी है, हमारे लोगों को यहां मारेंगे, मॉडल टाउन टाइप कत्ल करेंगे और फिर करते करते मेरे घर आके वो फिर मुर्तजा भुट्टो टाइप स्टाइल मुझे कत्ल करेंगे। ये प्लान बना हुआ है, या आज इन्होंने करना है और या कल करना है।
There are protests all across the country, and the political slugfest is getting uglier by the day. Imran and his supporters believe that he was ousted unfairly, and his opponents blame the current disaster on him. But the economic troubles have only deepened since. Pakistan is awaiting an IMF bailout package for quite some time. In May 2019, Imran Khan's government approached the IMF for an economic package, in view of the swelling current account deficit and balance of payment crisis. IMF agreed to a $6.5 billion bailout package but laid down some strict conditions before releasing the loans. The conditions include removal of electricity and petroleum subsidies, increase in tax rates, introduction of new taxes, and reducing foreign exchange market interventions. There are also reports that the IMF has asked the Pakistan government to cut down its defense spendings and curtail its spendings on nuclear program, to which the Finance Minister of Pakistan Ishaq Dar had this to say.
Is there to compromise anything on the nuclear or the missile program of Pakistan? No way! We are responsible citizens of Pakistan. We represent people of Pakistan. We are here to protect and we have to guard our national interests. Nobody has any right to tell Pakistan that what range of missiles it can have and what nuclear weapons it has. We have to have our own deterrence.
Given the state of Pakistan's economy, it is prudent that their spendings on long-range nuclear missile program be reduced. However, their obsession with nuclear missiles is not something new. Remember what former President of Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in the 70s said, "We will eat grass, even go hungry, but we will get one of our own. We have no other choice." Now coming back to the current economic crisis. It was aggravated by the devastating floods in August 2022, in which more than 1,700 people lost their lives and millions of acres of farmland were destroyed. In February, Pakistan Central Bank's foreign exchange reserves had slumped to an alarmingly low level of $3 billion, equivalent to only 3 weeks of imports. It has grown marginally since, but low foreign reserves have caused acute scarcity of essential commodities like food and medicines. Inflation broke the 58-year record, reaching 31.5% in February. Food and essential commodity prices have skyrocketed. Take a look at the prices of essential commodities in Pakistan this week. Prices have soared, making essentials like wheat, oil, etc. out of reach of the poor. There is an acute wheat shortage in the country, and multiple instances of looting of wheat from trucks in Lahore, Balochistan, Islamabad, etc. Pakistani rupee has been on a free fall against the US dollar for quite some time. You can see in this chart how the US dollar has sharply ascended against the Pakistani rupee in the past 1 month from around 260 to 282. In the last 1 year, Pakistani rupee has devalued by more than 57% against the dollar, going from 180 to 282. Currently, it's hovering around 280 to 284. More the Pakistani rupee depreciates against the dollar, imports are going to be more costly. Speaking of imports, there was a report last month that tea could become a rare commodity in Pakistan if the 300 containers of tea stuck at the Karachi port are not released. Pakistan imports close to 250 million kgs of tea worth $600 million every year. Similarly, thousands of containers of different international shipping agencies have been stranded at the Karachi port since December, turning it into a city of containers because of the import restrictions due to shortage of dollars. The State Bank of Pakistan is unable to issue letters of credit, and hence essential food and medicines, chemicals, raw materials are stuck at the ports, causing inflation to go out of control and shutting down of industries due to shortage of raw materials. Pakistan's total public debt stands at a whopping $270 billion, which is close to 78% of its GDP. To service this debt, it requires new debt. Pakistan desperately needs dollar inflows to avoid defaulting on nearly $80 billion in the next 3.5 years. UAE decided to roll over an existing $2 billion loan and a new loan of $1 billion in January. China too gave a rollover on $1.3 billion loan this month. Saudi Arabia, however, has refused to give Pakistan any further interest-free loans. Saudi Arabia wants Pakistan to implement strict monetary and fiscal reforms along the lines of IMF conditions. Now, considering the state of economy, you must be thinking that Pakistan government must be undertaking some austerity measures to reduce government spendings, especially in salaries and perks to ministers, right? No, you are wrong. There are a total of 87 members in the current Shehbaz Sharif government's cabinet, including federal ministers, ministers of state, advisors, and special assistants to the PM, making it the largest cabinet in Pakistan's history. most of these special assistants are not given any portfolio. The government claims that they are not officially considered as cabinet members, but in reality, they enjoy all the perks and privileges as of the federal ministers. Recently, another report stated the revised salary and perks of the NAB chief, which is sort of an anti-corruption bureau. The salary and perks include a salary of 17 lakh rupees per month, government residence, 2 cars, and a 2-canal plot in Islamabad, 2000 units of electricity, and 600 liters of petrol. If the salary is converted to INR, it comes around 5 lakh Indian rupees, which is more than twice of the Indian Prime Minister's salary. In Pakistan's existence for around 75 years, it remained under martial law or military dictatorship for close to 24 years. In the remaining 51 years, Pakistan has seen 30 prime ministers till date, including the caretaker ones. And can you believe that none of these 30 PMs in the history of Pakistan has ever completed a full 5-year term? It is the army that calls the shots, starting from defense and foreign policy to who's going to be the PM. General Zia-ul-Haq, who ruled Pakistan as a military dictator for more than a decade starting from 1977, changed Pakistan Army's motto to Iman, Taqwa, Jihad fi Sabilillah, which loosely translates to faith, piety, holy war in the path of Allah. This Islamization of the army and the Pakistani society as a whole, however, predates Zia-ul-Haq. Islamic theocracy is the basis of the idea of Pakistan, that is the two-nation theory. But Islam alone was not enough to hold the nation together, which was evident post the creation of Bangladesh in 1971. As a justification for the army establishment's autocracy, the Kashmir pot was kept boiling, and the idea of existential threat from India was easy to sell. Democratic institutions were weakened, and economy went down the drain, but the army pockets kept swelling. It is often said that every country has an army, but in Pakistan, an army has a country. Political class, however, is not faultless either. They are one of the most corrupt ones. But that story is for our future videos on Pakistan. What is India's role here now? India in the recent past has financially assisted neighboring countries in economic distress, like Sri Lanka, Maldives, etc. But in 2019, Pakistan suspended trade with India after India revoked Article 370 special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But think of the short-sightedness of Pakistan's policymakers. Though direct trade between India and Pakistan is closed now, but they have been importing Indian goods via a third country like UAE. It was reported recently that India-Pakistan trade stood at $1.35 billion during April to December 2022, which is much more than earlier. India also expressed willingness for humanitarian assistance to Pakistan after the devastating floods. But any trade with Pakistan will be conditional to Pakistan's support for terrorism against India. At this point, Pakistan's only way out of this crisis is IMF and massive economic reforms. And IMF has been quite rigid on fulfilling the economic reforms conditions for Pakistan. However, a staff-level agreement on the release of first tranche of $1.1 billion out of the promised $6.5 billion bailout package of 2019 is yet to be reached. Also, an election is due in Pakistan at the end of this year. In an election year, can any political party or leader take the risk of implementing tough economic reforms, like increased taxes, removal of subsidies, etc.? Will the government implement all these economic reforms mandated by the IMF? We have to wait and see. What should India do in the meanwhile? Same, wait and watch. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe the channel, as more videos on Pakistan series are coming soon. Thank you.